Okay, hello everyone. I'm Robert Karasek. I'm a student from Slovakia, and today I will talk about next generation of LuaRocks test suite. The main idea of this project was introduced by my mentor Hisham. He is a well-known person in Lua community and LuaRocks community. And this new test suite was developed on Google Summer of Code internship. I only can recommend this organization. Work with Lua community and Google was really exciting. I learned a lot of new stuff. So to project, old test suite was implemented like really long bash script. It was executed on Travis, and the main idea of this bash script was test this LuaRocks on black box level. This was achieved by build of new environment, which built LuaRocks version on your computer as isolated from your global LuaRocks. After this successful build, the script continued into tests, but you can check the output of tests. If you get some error during the execution, the script will stop and you can continue to other tests. There were so many issues, but the isolation of test, reset testing environment after each test was a really good idea. And Hisham wanted to make it multi-platform, which was created like a small batch script for Windows, and it tests just build of some small module. This was executed on AppWare, and the results of this test was just on AppWare. There was no merge. You can't check other tests on Windows, so you have just this only build module. Does someone has idea what we are missing here? What can we do better? No one? Everything is great. We don't need any new tests. Just reminder, the continuous integration started on Travis, which we get results for GitHub. So it help on merge pull request, but you lost the information from AppWare, and the bash script, as I said, has so many troubles. And coverage was on Coverall's system or service. Our new test ideas was not just do black box testing, but allow the white box testing. This is so important for programmers. It's faster, like building a whole environment before testing, and you can test it on that white box layer. Idea for black box testing was the same in new LuaRocks test suite. Environments stay same. There is one minimal, which has just basic modules for LuaRocks, and full environment got something like LuaSocket, LuaSec, and others. We wanted to upgrade multi-platform, not just to make some trivial test on AppWare. We wanted to run all tests on Windows. Not so all, but mostly which can be executed on Windows. First time I was like, why do we need to make this? Because I don't think command line users are executing it on Windows, but during the summer I saw every week some issues on Windows command line, so it's really it's really working, and people are using it on command line Windows too. The best framework for making this happen was Bastid. It's I think most known unit testing framework in Lua. It's multi-platform based on describe and it blocks. I think every language has a similar framework. You can do asserts, mocks, asynchronous test, output handling, which is it's really good. You can implement your own library for that. And for us was the best functionality script execution before tests, because we built the environment before the tests. We want it all implemented in Lua. Bastid work with Moonscript 2, and the output languages you can change. Structure of new test suite is really simple. The first folder is test, where there is a Lua script for build environment. There is some small script to build mock server, which I say later, but it was used for the black box part of this project, and to test upload functionality. Other subfolder is test files. You can add there some rocks, specs for your project, for your unit tests. Next folder is spec. This is like from documentation of Bastid framework. For each module, you have a spec file with your unit tests. You can use tags on your unit tests. For example, we used some tests for Windows, some tests for Unix. Some special cases has a hashtag with the number of pull requests. So if you are now developing some bigger part of LuaRocks and you want to pull your merge, pull your request, it's good to make a unit test for it. The test for first view, it looks like quite hacky, but in the main describe block you just write what you are going to test. As we can see, we are testing the install part of LuaRocks, and the first test is just install LuaSec module with skipping dependency checks. This is a black box test, so you can imagine you type it on your command line in your terminal, something like LuaRocks install LuaSec. You add your libraries, add your flags, and this you assert in Bastid framework. For example, we can see if the environment is just minimal, we are not testing build of LuaSocket. So we test it like execute show LuaSocket. This should return false because LuaSocket is not in that environment. And for better check, we check the library if there is something with LuaSocket. The next test, as I mentioned, was to some pull request 632. And we can see that there is if condition, for example, if there is Windows operating system. So it's really easy. You can just open some test, read it for 5 minutes, and you get into it. The mock of LuaRocks server was based on LuaRocks upload command, because it's possible to test it white box, but we want to stick the first idea, test LuaRocks on black box level. And this is how we created some mock-up server of LuaRocks. it's using REST server as module and has some basic get methods with responses for your unit test. So if you want to test upload command or on black box level, unit creates some responses into this file. It runs in background during the execution. It could be executable on Travis, but it's not for Windows users. The biggest step for this test suite was make it multi-platform. On OS X we don't have any big issues. There were some new if conditions, I think mostly for LuaSocket module. And the bigger problem was on Windows platform. You need to change quotes, some commands, rules in their command line. For example, temporary directory, it's not same, and other problems. Now you can use it on AppWare or on your local Windows command line. You run mostly the main test on Windows 2 and get good coverage. But new issue was merging of these results. You get coverage from Travis and you get coverage from AppWare, but there is no easy way. I don't know for sure, but last summer there was no way to how to merge these results on coveralls. So we changed the service to CodeCo. CodeCo is merging these results. It has some visual models to represent your coverage. So now if you send some pull request to LuaRocks, it's going to CodeCo. Execution on Travis is on OS X, Unix. I think there are versions of Lua and LuaJIT. And on AppWare, it's quite the same, but some tests are skipped. Few known issues, like I mentioned before, the rest of tests can be executed on Windows platform. We get into problem with outpath on Windows. You get it. You don't see the consequence. You see the outpath random. And on AppWare is the same. We increased the coverage of LuaRocks. Before it was less than 80%, now it's 88% of coverage. I think this is everything, and if you have any questions, yes. If you have any questions, please ask, and thank you.
I have a question. Sorry if I missed that, but what's your target coverage?
We didn't. Question was what was the target coverage? We had goal to increase this coverage, but there wasn't some point. You know, we need to get higher, like 80 or something. We spent a lot of time on that Windows platform, so on that coverage I don't have so much time because we really created the new test for LuaRocks just at the end phase of development.
But 80% is very good. I don't
Yes.
think you need much more.
The main functionality is covered by the black box test on two environments. Yes.
So what would you do now? What's left to be done for this project?
Next to be done, so increase coverage. if you make some pull request, you should make some unit tests for it to increase coverage, to have a more stable LuaRocks build. I don't know, maybe fix some that Windows issues, but I'm more Unix oriented, so I just do the basic on Windows. Really, it wasn't so easy.
Okay, so you're looking for a good Windows developer to help you fix this.
Yes, of course. This test suite is really using. So, if you are a LuaRocks developer, someone, please make it better.
Actually, I have another question. What was the web server that you?
Sorry?
I saw the web server was something called REST server.
Yes. It was.
Yeah, you require web REST server, but what is it? The REST server.
This is just basic HTTP server. Question was. Sorry.
So what is this REST server module?
What is the REST server module? This is just the basic HTTP server, which is some kind of mock or some basic LuaRocks server. Because when you upload your modules to LuaRocks, you need to get to some response. You can mock it easy with busted on white box level, but if you want to make it like black box test, you need to have some HTTP server running behind.
The library that you use.
Yes. It's
part of LuaRocks, or
it's another dependency.
Okay.
It's before this test. This is some special test. Before this test, we built that server running in background, and tests are executed. Then we stop it, and that's the short description how it works. It's like you are sending something on LuaRocks API 1, some status of your module, some upload of your new rock. Okay. Any questions? Thank you very much.